Hi, it's Sam from SPL Reviews, and today we are taking a close look at the Arisyn Huo Shu, a new name entering on one of the most competitive segment in portable audio. The sub $100 IEM space is brutally competitive. Every release isn't just trying to sound good, it's trying to justify its existence. The Huo Shu comes in with a clear identity. Visually, it leans into an organic elemental aesthetic. Sonically, it aims for a cleaner, more restrained presentation rather than chasing exaggerated impact. But in a market where every set claims balance, resolution, and refinement, the real question is simple. Does this one actually hold together in long-term listening? So today we are breaking it down properly, build, design, drivability, tuning philosophy, technicalities, and comparing it directly to Sivga SM100 and the BQEYZ Ni. Let's find out. As you can see, inside the box, you get the Arisyn Huo Shu IEMs. A detachable cable. Mine came terminated in 4.4mm balanced. Multiple sets of silicone ear tips. A soft carry pouch. Documentation. And the artwork in a postcard. And whatever this is. It's a functional package. This is nothing extravagant. However, I do think at this price point, a hard shell case would have been more appropriate. The pouch looks nice, but in practical use, it offers minimal protection. The shell is made from medical grade resin with smooth ergonomic contour. The faceplate carries an organic wood-inspired aesthetic that feels intentional and grounded rather than flashy for the sake of attention. In hand, it feels lightweight yet solid. No creaking, no weak seams, no cheap finishing. Fit is genuinely good. It sits securely without creating pressure hotspots. Long listening sessions are physically comfortable. From a build perspective, there is no complaints. On the faceplate, the wood motif, which is actual wood, is a very nice touch. The included cable looks premium at first glance, but in hand, it feels slightly plasticky and tends to retain memory, which takes away from the overall refinement. My unit came with a 4.4mm balance plug, and initially I thought there was a slightly off presentation with the sound, which might be related to the balance termination, so I switched to a 3.5mm cable. But after extended listening, I realized something important. The disjointed character that I heard initially didn't disappear. The cable wasn't the problem, the tuning was. So to be clear, in my case, it's not a cable issue. The sonic character remained largely the same regardless of termination. The included silicone tips are fairly standard and get the job done. But I ended up using my own preferred tips to achieve a better sealed and a more consistent sound, which is not unusual for me because I do it for most IEMs. So the Huo Shu uses a 10mm LCB dynamic driver, and single dynamic drivers are often praised for cohesion. So the entire frequency range comes from one diaphragm. In theory, that could create a unified presentation, but in practice, this one almost does, but almost. It's easy to drive, a simple dongle is enough. It does scale slightly with cleaner sources. Imaging tightens up, bass gains marginal control, but this is not a power-hungry set, this is a plug-and-play IEM. Now let's get into the important part, which is sound. The Huo Shu follows a lean, relatively flat bass shelf. The low end is not elevated in a fun or warm way. It's controlled, almost ruler flat. Sub bass is present but not emphasized. Mid bass avoids bloom entirely. On paper, this looks clean and disciplined. But in listening, this is where the first issue appears. The bass foundation doesn't quite anchor the rest of the tuning emotionally. It's technically there, but it doesn't always support the mids in a satisfying way. The mid-range itself is clear and articulate. Vocals are intelligible and reasonably natural, but will sound a bit recessed or off in some tracks. But then we reach the upper mids and lower treble, and this is where things become slightly strange. There appears to be an 8K emphasis that introduces a certain edge. Not harsh, it's not piercing, it's just slightly disconnected. If I had to quantify it, and I know sound isn't objective in percentages, I would say the tuning feels about 80% cohesive and 20% disjointed. It's not bad, it's just not fully integrated. The bass, mids, and treble don't always blend into a single organic whole. There is a subtle sense that elements are layered next to each other rather than fused together. And even after extended listening, well beyond initial impressions, I never fully adapted to it. And brain burning didn't completely resolve that feeling. Technical performance wise, the soundstage is moderate, imaging is stable but not holographic. Separation is decent, but again, the tuning slightly interferes with the sense of unity. The strength here is clarity, the weakness is integration. Compared to the Sivga SM100, the SM100 presents vocal more forward and intimate. Bass is lighter on the SM100, but the mid-range integration feels more natural. The Huo Shu has more bass presence overall, but its upper frequency emphasis makes it feel less relaxed. The SM100 feels smoother, the Huo Shu feels cleaner, but also slightly more rigid. Compared to the BQEYZ Ni, the Ni is more technically capable. With cleaner separation, sharper imaging, high resolution ceiling, it sounds intentional and controlled. The Huo Shu sounds disciplined but slightly uneven in tonal blending. The Ni feels more complete. There is this idea floating around that lean tunings are mature and bass heavy tunings are somehow less evolved. This is the part where I rant a bit. I don't subscribe to that. I enjoy bass head sets, warm sets, balanced sets, even V-shaped sets. So preference isn't hierarchy to me, but lean tunings have to nail cohesion. If you remove warmth and fullness, you leave nowhere to hide. And in this case, the Huo Shu's lean approach exposes its slight tonal disconnect. Pros about the Huo Shu is that it's clean, controlled. It has clear mid-range articulation, comfortable ergonomic shell, attractive organic aesthetic, easy drivability, and con is the super flat bass shelf lacks emotional weight. Noticeable 8K emphasis introduces slight tonal disunity. It's not a fully cohesive presentation. We have a soft pouch instead of a hard case, and this is not the most resolving in its class. Sound wise, what can be improved is a touch more bass contour, not quantity but contour. The contour would anchor the mids better, and the 8K region could be smoothed slightly to improve tonal blending. And tech wise, a proper hard shell case should replace the pouch. As you know, nothing can be fixed with a little EQing, but I'm not big on EQing yet. This is for listeners who prefer lean controlled bass, who value clarity over warmth, enjoy disciplined tuning, and listen primarily in quieter environments. This is not for bass focused listeners, those who are sensitive to upper treble peaks, listeners seeking a lush or warm presentation, people who prioritizes maximum technical performance, and me. So final thoughts. The Arisyn Huo Shu does not try to be the most technical. It tries to be clean and controlled and restrained. But for me, it never fully came together. It's not a bad IEM at all. It just sounds slightly off. It's not broken, it's not harsh, it's not offensive at all. It's just about 20% disconnected. And because of that, I strongly recommend auditioning before purchasing. If its tuning aligns with your ear anatomy and preferences, you may appreciate its clarity and discipline. But this is not a universal crowd pleaser. In a market full of confident, cohesive performers, the Huo Shu feels like it almost reaches the finish line but stops just short. And sometimes that last 20% matters. That's all for this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.